You're watching CTOM TV. Knowledge is power.
Fawn wants to know, is it better to go to the US or somewhere like Mexico for cancer treatment? Is it better somewhere else?
Yeah, I think I've seen quite a lot of variation. Number one, I wouldn't go to Mexico. I would not go to Mexico.
Okay.
It's just too corrupt. I think a lot of the clinics that go down there to operate there are doing so they can get away from the FDA and get out of some of the restraints that are on the less dubious practices elsewhere. And also, as you know, most of Mexico is run by the cartel, the government included the police. So really, you don't know what you're getting, and you can pretty well assume that it's not going to be good.
Or maybe not regulated. Yeah,
I think it's worse than just not regulated.
Okay. Well, Alex is the cancer expert. I'm always a little uncomfortable with generalizing.
Well, we see a lot of people go to Mexico, and I mean, until Mexico can get a democratic government.
That is true. We do get a lot of calls from people who have tried treatments in Mexico that have not been successful. Yeah.
And we've seen some horror stories too.
Well, I guess the point, regardless of the country, you want to look at how well regulated is their medical system.
Right.
What kinds of checks and balances are there to make sure that the treatment you're being told you're getting is actually the one that you're getting? Are you simply putting your faith in the people in the treatment facility?
Right.
Yeah. The U.S., for all that we hear, we're Canadian, and there's this big thing about our socialized medicine versus the system in the U.S. And there's definitely pros and cons, because a lot of times people in the U.S. come to us and they've already had some great genetic testing. So there's a lot of ways in which the U.S. is very far ahead from Canada. It's kind of more a matter of who's paying in those places. But I guess fundamentally, you don't necessarily have to go anywhere. In this day and age,
that's the key.
You almost certainly don't have to travel in order to get the very best cancer care that's available anywhere in the world, because we can bring it to you.
Exactly. And I was about to say that too. I think the big issue, and we see this a lot, is I think across the board, cancer care in the States is a lot better because there's a lot more access to good quality targeted therapies and immune therapies and diagnostics. And they have a large amount of very proficient and very knowledgeable oncologists there. But that being said, we see some major bad decision making, even at some of the top cancer centers. And so it doesn't matter where you go. You can go to one of the best cancer centers in the world, and if you don't get their best doctor who's most experienced with that and understands the most about what's going on then for that particular subtype, you're just going to get standard therapy. So you could be paying a lot of money for something you could get for free in Canada. So it's really important to have a service like ours for a second opinion, to go over what's going on and to look at the data and say, well, sure, you're getting offered this at Sloan Kettering in New York, but really, if you go down to Woodlands in Texas, they've got this new treatment for you that is going to be a lifesaver. So you really just have, it's about information flow.
That's
you can't
really
go
the
with
point.
reputation.
Right. Well, a little bit of both, let's say. First and foremost, the information. Who's going to be able to get you the I guess the greatest breadth of information about what's going on and what's going to be best, and then from there, who or what system or what medical clinic is going to be able to provide you with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But again, it doesn't really matter where our clients are coming from. Anywhere in the world, we really do mean it when we say you rarely have to travel and you rarely have to change doctors, because there's so much great information flow, and FedEx exists. There's ways to get treatments from one country to another if they're not already available there.
Well, that reminds me of a case we had a few years back. We got a call from a patient with a brain tumor. They had been on therapy for many years. They'd had many surgeries, and they were at MD Anderson, I believe. And they were able to afford the top surgeons and the top specialists, and we got a call saying that they're about to get whole brain radiation. And I thought, well, MD Anderson is a top center for cancer surgery and research. I'm surprised that they're not doing the Nico Myriad brain path tool. And so I asked them about that, and they asked their doctor, and the doctor said, no, we don't know anything about that. So I called up Jim from Nico, and I asked him, I said, Jim, don't you guys have a program in MD Anderson? He says, oh yeah, we're supposed to be there next week. We're going to be training some doctors next week. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, I have a patient at MD Anderson. I believe he has a tumor that would benefit from your surgery. And right now they just want to throw in the towel and give him whole brain radiation, which is really not going to be a beneficial thing for this person. That's kind of a last resort to keep you alive and reduce side effects. So he said, send me the information, the scans. So I sent it to him, and he said, yeah, we could totally take out this tumor. In fact, we have a doctor that we just finished training a few weeks ago at a hospital just down the street called Woodlands. So tell your patient to pack up his stuff. The doctor at Woodlands is waiting for him. And off he went. So, there's a perfect example. You've got a center like MD Anderson that should know about everything. But
and
it's
they
so
do know
big,
a lot.
But it's so big that not every doctor knows about everything that's going on. So once again is this information issue, the distribution of information. And so in this case, it was imperative to this guy's life. Sure, they may have had the test coming in the next, or the process, the training process in the next few weeks. But that day, that doctor did not know about that.
And he was able, this patient, thankfully, was able to go just down the street, get something that was so much more localized.
And so much more advanced.
We're going to do a talk about brain cancer soon, and we'll talk lots about that tool for sure. But yes, the moral of the story is make sure you're getting a thorough diagnosis and broad research, and not specific to one facility or one center and the knowledge that they have.
Well, I think more importantly, it's just get real-time information. Get information today on what everyone is doing. Right. And the only way to do that is to use a service like ours.
Because you and your team are doing all the research all the time for all the things.
And new information comes out daily.
Yes,
so
it's true.
You need to stay on top of it. You need to know what's best today, not yesterday.
Yes, this is true.
Thank you for watching Ketome TV. Subscribe below and stay informed.